Hello, hello, YouTube. We're back at it with... Wait, back at it? For the very first time we're at it with some Armored Core gameplay. I thought it would be a grand idea to go out of my way to get you some clips that don't have spoilers. For the most part, this is either very early game content or some nice fights between me and some other Armored Cores. Armored Cores being advanced mechs and not the little trash mobs that you get in your normal gameplay loop. So that's what we have on screen for your enjoyment. Enjoy the lasers, the explosions, the dynamic fights. It's a lot. I remember seeing a little bit of gameplay just before I played, and I tried to avoid spoilers for the most part, but I wanted to see just a smidge of the game, and it was hard to keep track of what's going on. So I'll give you a couple things to look out for if you haven't played the game yet, or if you're still new to it. So for one, whenever I'm looking at somebody with my reticle, I have my gray bars on either side, right? And they signify my left and right shoulders, and then below that, outward, are my left and right arms on the side of the reticle that correlates to that arm. There we go, S rank on that silly little kill. So you can keep track, thanks to the reticle, kind of what parts of my mech I'm using as I fight. So you can look at, oh, that part turned red, he used his right hand, oh, his left hand, oh, his right shoulder, left shoulder, etc. And that helped me keep track of the fights a little better, because there is so much going on screen. And I kind of wish that the HUD was color coordinated, but that's fine. It's a sci-fi game. I understand if they want everything to be minimalistic in a sense. It looks good for the game. And that is one thing I do want to harp on. The game looks so good. My computer can run Elden Ring just fine, and I think that this Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is, without a doubt, the most polished FromSoft game upon release. At least from what I can tell, given the history of the company. And oh, it just looks good. And the game likes to slow down when you get a big kill like that, just to let you appreciate all the particle effects they have going on every which way. The animations are smooth. They blend into each other really well. The movement feels good. The controls are pretty good. For controller, I don't know about keyboard and mouse. I've heard some people say that keyboard and mouse is the way to go, because you can just point to get your soft lock on or what have you. But that the I don't know if you can remap them on your keyboard and then use a mouse to aim. I might make the swap. I might treat this game like a shooter, use my ancient ingrained first-person shooter background to play the game more effectively. But I'm coming at this Armored Core game. This is my first Armored Core game. I am a Soulsborner fan through and through, and don't you fret, we will go back to Elden Ring PvP videos. I can't say no to those. But for the time being, I'm just enjoying the PvE, taking it at a rather leisurely pace. Subsequent videos in the future will likely be neat little highlights, or perhaps missions I thought I did well in. I don't know if I'll show off a myriad of builds just yet. Heck, I don't know what's going on. As for a playthrough or a lore through, I don't know if I should do either, necessarily. At least not a full playthrough, maybe a highlight reel or something like that. There's just so much to the game, and I don't know how much content it is. I don't know how far I am in the game, honestly. I have defeated a certain boss that is much to the chagrin of a lot of people. And so I don't know if that's at the 30% mark, 20% mark, it could be at the 70% mark. I genuinely do not know. But I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. The game seems to have a fair bit of replayability. Maybe not as much as an Elden Ring, but there's so many builds and varieties and kits you can throw together that it'll keep your attention for quite some time. If you're a fan of big chunky robots, the mecha genre at all, this game I think will make you happy. If you're a fan of previous Armored Core games, I don't know if the game will make you happy. It seems like it's a good game, but it may not be the best Armored Core game. And I mean that in the sense that the normal fighting of mooks and mission traversal feels like an Armored Core game, but then when it comes to the boss fights, it feels like apparently more like a Souls-like game. I love those chunky railguns. Oh my goodness, they make me happy. So yeah, a little bit about the build. I don't even remember what it's called, but that's okay. I recognize everything based on the visuals, not by its names, because everything is serial numbers and company names, so I don't know it off the top of my head. But using the chunky armor that lets you still be bipedal, and then the railguns on my shoulders, I was running the second energy sword you can get in my offhand, and then the laser pistol in the main hand. I didn't think I'd do an energy build. When I play games like Fallout or other games that have energy weapons, I don't really like energy builds. Laser weapons don't really do it for me, but the energy weapons feel good. They're a lot of fun. The railguns are neat. The laser pistol that I'm using, you can either do quick pulses or you can charge it up for a barrage of pulses. And then the energy sword looks cool. It's a great posture breaking tool. Oh yeah, posture. So I am not one who has played Sekiro. I've neglected my FromSoft duty. I need to play Sekiro at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. And I know that Sekiro has a posture bar for when you are fighting notable enemies. There might be posture bars for smaller enemies. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter so much. But I know there's a posture bar, and basically the fight only goes your way if you break the posture bar, essentially. And that's not necessarily a thing in Elden Ring, though breaking somebody's posture in Elden Ring allows you to get a critical hit. In this game, if you break an enemy's posture, you do bonus damage, so you want to break their posture as often as you can, and then hit them with your big stuff or your bursty stuff immediately as their posture is broken to capitalize it. So you want to just spend enough resources to break their posture, and then hopefully not have everything on cooldown to break their posture and capitalize with something else. So one thing I like to do with this current kit, which I'm not even going to recommend the kit to you. If you want to try it, go for it, right? I'm not even saying it's good, I'm just saying I liked it for these earlier missions. I would like to use the energy sword because it doesn't take resources to break someone's posture, and then I would capitalize by double hitting them with the railguns, and it did good damage. There's probably better means of doing the damage, but like I said, I haven't gotten that far. And the farther you get in the game, the more stuff you unlock, and the more money you have to buy stuff that's neat, and to advance, and to, I don't know, the game feels less skill-based, a little less expression-based. There is some skill, don't get me wrong. It's still a FromSoft game at its core. However, it feels like a lot of the gameplay is rock, paper, scissors. Did you bring the right thing for the situation to make it easy? There's a particular mission later on that involves cloaked enemies and their beam weapons that shoot really far and really hard. It's probably your first introduction to it. Not really spoilery, don't worry, but there's a mission that is much to the chagrin of newer players. And so the kit I'd brought into it, I got wrecked, I barely beat the mission, and then I went back with a new kit that featured just an energy sword and the lightweight rocket launcher on your hand, and I did phenomenal. I took a lightweight build instead of a chunky, heavy build, and I don't even think that build that you saw earlier on my blue mech, I don't think that's the heaviest you can get. I think you can get heavier, but I haven't unlocked that stuff, so maybe it is some of the heavier stuff, I don't know. I think there's heavier legs, and I was using a lighter pair of legs, but I think I was wearing a fairly heavy chest, arms, and head. But I digress. I'm enjoying the game thoroughly. I almost want to just play it and not worry about making content, but I'm going to make a little content for you. I'm going to have some highlight reels. I'm going to try to do the best I can. I don't know if I'll be able to S-rank everything. There's some missions that I feel like I get just shy of S-rank, and it's a little disheartening, but that's okay. I'm happy with the B or higher, I'll be honest. That's kind of my goal, is get a B rank or higher, because I'm not an Armored Core guy. But I might become one. I need to experiment with the PvP, but from the looks of it, the PvP is wild. It is insane. It is out of this world. And I've called early Elden Ring and patch 110 Elden Ring the Wild West of Elden Ring, because it was just so crazy and we didn't know what to expect, and anything could be used, and it was crazy, and particles and yada yada yada. This game is even more insane, because you're not just looking at an enemy and seeing if they have a weapon or two. You're not seeing an enemy and seeing them swap to a talisman and have a myriad of spells. They have 4 weapons, and some of them can fire simultaneously, and it'll just fill up your screen with rockets or lasers or bullets, and it'll do it in an instant. And people have maneuvers and jumps, and they have different legs to allow them to either hop around or to hover in the air. There's so many different varieties. The PvP is a little daunting, honestly. And I think right now the PvP is essentially just an arena system. There's no getting invaded during your regular missions, so if you're not one for the PvP or you're not one for invasions, which I'm surprised you're watching my channel if you're not for those things at least a little bit, then don't worry, you'll be safe. So this is your first mission, your opening mission. If you don't want to see the opening mission in its entirety, you may click away from the video now. I don't think there's really spoilers. This is the tutorial mission. A lot of people have already seen this in their escapades through the YouTube algorithm. But I thought I'd show off the opening mission so you can kind of see what it was like start to finish, since the helicopter mission I did earlier was rather short and not story-based in any way. This one's not particularly story-based. I guess it's got a little more story. I'll be gracious. I'll be kind. But I couldn't sing this game's praises enough, and that's not just because it's new. I've given it a couple days, right? I've thought about it, and it's a game I'm excited to play, and even though I fear future encounters in the game, right? I go at it with a level of apprehension, but I also go at it with a measure of hope, because I'm learning. The game's learning curve is not too immense, which is nice. I remember early on in Elden Ring, if I wasn't bringing a friend with me, I'd be a little spooked about what could be around the next corner, because it could be another gotcha trap. Because Elden Ring and the other Soulsborner games, they love their gotcha traps. Enemy closets and tricks and traps and little things you haven't seen yet. This game doesn't seem to pull that so much. It is a little more straightforward. It feels a little more like a honest-to-goodness video game. And it is still quite the experience. I smile thinking about it. I'm excited to play a little more today. I need to find some more clips. I want to S-rank that mission I referenced earlier that won't be shown in any of these clips. The mission where you have to deal with a bunch of enemies with essentially railguns and cloaking. I want to S-rank it. I've gotten just shy of it. I want to S-rank it. I think that would make a good clip. Clip, I say. It's like a 4 or 5 minute mission. A little longer than your average clip, methinks. You may see on screen, you can lock on to multiple objects with, or multiple enemies with your rockets on your shoulder. A lot of rocket clusters have that option, so you can lock on to a lot of things and take them all out. And so that kind of leads to a deviation in builds, right? From what I can tell, this is my own experience. I'm sure people will quantify it and give it terminology later on. But right now, it feels as if your kit is either remarkable at trash killing and doing the normal objectives, and then your build is good at killing the chunky big boys. And the chunky big boys could be another armored core. It could be one of those large quadruped MT units is what they're called. I think MTs are like the grade below an armored core in the game. Armored cores are big and they're cool. It's what you play as. And by big, I mean just compared to like the environment. There's of course bigger, chunkier robots they'll throw at you and flying machines, things of that sort. But it seems that a lot of kits aren't. They're slated one way or the other. Either you're fantastic at the 1v1s, where you're fighting a notable enemy who dodges and has a lot of posture, or your kit is really good at cleaning up trash. I've yet to find something that's remarkable at both, because it feels like either you have a lot of chunky things you can break their posture, a lot of slow but heavy-hitting things, or you have a lot of lightweight stuff that can multi-target, which isn't so great for posture breaking, and your enemy can easily dodge if you're fighting another armored core. If they see a cluster of rockets, they're gonna move. As for your little dodge burst that you have in this game, no iframes. Don't expect iframes. You're not gonna have them. But as you can see on this fight, that top bar that's cut into 3 segments, that's the enemy's posture ones. Flashing red, they take bonus damage. The yellow is how much it's built up. It looks a lot like the one from Sekiro, right? So I get in there, I hit it with my laser sword because it builds up an obscene amount of posture. I keep peppering him with everything I've got in the meantime. In order to keep it from going down, I get in there with another laser slash or whatever, and hopefully you can hit him with stuff while he's got that posture broken. Thankfully, the default mission gives you 2 weapons that recharge rather quickly, so you don't have to worry about a balancing act as much. You can kind of keep mashing your rockets and your main gun as you can, and then getting in sword strikes when applicable. But I thank you for joining me on this little adventure. I had fun. It's nice to do a different game on the channel, but it's still FromSoft. It's still FromSoft at the end of the day. But still, I'm having a blast. I feel good. It's nice to have a new shiny thing to play with every once in a while. Makes me smile. And I hope you'll stick around for the journey as I go on a couple more a few more Armored Core adventures. And don't worry, we will return to the Elden Ring. It is my love, and I enjoy it. And I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye now.